Immediately after my college, I was trying to do sales. I'm not a sales guy, as you can tell. I'm an engineer by trade. But I realized that if you send a personalized video to someone, they are way more likely to reply to you. It's uncanny. Like they see that you're a real human being, and you're just trying to like get their attention and just want to reach out to them, as opposed to a bot that's sending thousands of emails at once.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. 20-Minute Leaders is a proud supporter of Make-A-Wish Israel and Tech to Peace, and is in proud collaboration with Secret Chord Ventures, J Ventures, Riverside FM, Fusion VC, Birthright Excel, J Impact, Leap, Google for Startups, and Hippo, and in media partnership with CTech. Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. This episode is all about video editing, and not just video editing, but how do we leverage new technology to make content creation easier. Meet Kanad Bahalkar. Kanad is the Chief Product Officer and co-founder of Potion. Kanad is an ex-Googler and was an early employee at Knit Health, a camera that could detect sleeping and breathing disorders using AI. Looking forward to having people listen to our conversation now. Really getting at the question of why do you do what you do, and you've done quite a few awesome things, and most recently user experience researcher at Google, and so user experience is a pretty big, significant passion of mine. And one of the things that you're doing now is looking at video as a means of interaction and sales, and how to leverage technology to create it more personalized and dynamic, while taking less resources from the creator itself. So tell me a little bit about the space that you're in and how you've come to think about this problem.
Sure thing. There's a little bit of a correction. I used to be a user experience engineer, not a researcher. I'm not as smart to be a UX researcher. So I was just a liaison
what's the
between.
difference there, by the way?
So UXs or UX engineers they're actually engineers who understand the language of user experience. So they are the liaison between the user experience team and the engineering team. So quickly creating prototypes, testing them to see if they have validity in the people that you're reaching out to. Do people like your stuff? So before you build a big thing, we quickly build smaller things to test if they are actually a valid business idea or a valid product.
So it's interesting. So it's sort of this. You get the best of both worlds. You both get the engineering perspective, but also the user experience fun of it. So thank you for that clarification. The world of video and content and personalization. What's happening there?
Sure thing. So let me turn the wheel of time a little bit back and tell you why I started this.
Perfect.
Before this startup, I was working at Google, and before that, I was working at a small startup called Knit Health. And this is a very small team, and we built really cool things. Our team built a camera that could detect sleeping and breathing disorders in kids who have those disorders. And I had seen our work actually change like sleeping and breathing patterns of kids who were suffering with those things. At that time, I got exposed to computer vision and how AI can actually help people with video. And deepfakes was an up-and-coming field, and it was very nascent, very in its infancy. And I wanted to understand these tools, like what is the dynamic there? What can we do to actually make this cool, make this safe? So deepfakes as technology is potent, but it's also very dangerous. So what can we do to actually build cool things using this technology while at the same time making it safe and secure? So that's where the germination of the idea came from, and played around with it a little bit, experimented with it a little bit, and I met my co-founder during that time, and we decided to build a company.
I love it. And so looking more concretely at the opportunity that you have in video and the intersection of sales, what is the sort of the aha moment that you had, or how did you even get to that specific product that you're building today with creating these personalized videos?
Yeah, great question. So for a project way back in immediately after my college, I was trying to do sales. I'm not a sales guy, as you can tell. I'm an engineer by trade. But I realized that if you send a personalized video to someone, they are way more likely to reply to you. it's uncanny. Like they see that you're a real human being, and you're just trying to like get their attention and just want to reach out to them, as opposed to a bot that's sending thousands of emails at once.
And so
So
literally you're sending a video as a cold outreach. So instead of just text explaining everything, you're sending them a personalized video where you're actually talking to them. And this is
yes,
a replacement for the cold email, pretty much.
yes, it's actually an enhancement to the cold email. So we
Right.
still use text, but in that we also embed a video to explain either in detail or just add a personal flair to the text. So if you do that, it's way more likely for people to engage with you, but it's impossible to scale. You're not going to go, hey, Michael, this is Kanad. Hey, Johnny, this is Kanad, hundreds of times for all the people that you want to reach out to. So that was a problem. And the technology that was up and coming was a potential solution. So we tried to experiment with those. And it turns out salespeople want to do it. So we just decided to build a company.
How do you sort of mitigate so you have this user experience insight, right? Where you're saying, if we're able to make the listener feel that they're more engaged because this is more targeted to them, more personalized, and they're more likely to engage with the content. I'm assuming there will be an inflection point where people sort of realize this, right? Where Potion is going to become significant enough that, sales videos will be made through this. How do you perceive the consumer behavior shifting at that point? Will people still find it engaging and personalized? Will they, feel a little detached because they realize that it's a software doing it? How do you think through sort of the trajectory of this technology?
Great question. So this is a new form of communication.
Right.
And for every new form of communication, there is a curve of excitement, and then it dies down once people catch up to. And that's not just with personalized videos or any other personalized things. It's just the nature of the game.
Sure.
So if you look at email as a means of communication, when it came out, you used to get like 80%, 90% open rates. But now it has died down a lot because people are more desensitized to that.
Sure.
Which is true with every single means of communication. So we do expect that to happen. But it's a good problem to have. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that if something is overdone, people get desensitized to that. That's just human nature. So we're not necessarily worried about it. We expect it. We anticipate it.
Right. And so and then is that changing in any way, the way that you're building your product or your team, your vision for this company, the sort of this desensitizing idea?
Great question. So we actually have significantly wider vision than what we're building now. So right now we allow salespeople to change a few words in a video using our technology, which is cool. It's really useful for sales teams. But the same technology can be used to do many, many things, such as changing an entire video from English to German or any other language just by changing the subtitles, or lip syncing TV or movies, or even creating a personalized employee onboarding content. The possibilities of the same technology being applied in different contexts is significantly large. So what are we going to do about it? So next year, we're planning to release an API that allows developers to build their own applications on top of our AI.
Cool.
So right now we're starting with a very small specific use case. Then we're going to expand to a video editor that allows people to edit videos just by editing text. And it's not just removing words, it's also like adding stuff, adding content to the video. Late next year, once we democratize this technology with an API, developers can actually leverage it for their own applications.
So I'm hearing three different verticals that are coming together here. First, you have the idea of sales and marketing and personalization, right? Then you have this vertical of the content creation, right? You're talking about creators and how do we create content or create anything that is engaging and entertaining. And then you have this vertical of developers. As an engineer yourself, you're thinking, okay, how do I now empower a whole marketplace or whole world of development through this foundation that I'm building in the market here? Which of these do you personally most relate to? Where is Kanad in sort of in this whole spectrum that I've tried outlining here?
At the end game, I really want to democratize this technology, make it as safe and secure as possible, and just see what people do with it. I have no idea what cool ideas will people implement using this, but that's what I'm really excited about. We understand that we've chosen a very narrow problem to solve right now, but that's because The company is nascent. We don't have the AI is not sophisticated enough to produce robust results all the time. As we collect more user data, we can actually get better and better over time. But the end game is what I'm really, really excited about.
Interesting. And so you're talking about, you're basically saying, I, as an entrepreneur, I'm setting the foundation. And what I really care about is to see how the world responds and how everybody is interacting with this technology and building on top of it, right?
Yes, sir.
So give me some examples. If you had to now, if we had 20 engineers that are ready to use this API and to build, really cool apps on their own with Potion's technology, what types of things would you empower them to try and do?
Absolutely. So, I came up with like a bunch of ideas right now, just like off the top of my head. But since I'm working like sales and marketing people, like those are the top of mind ideas for me. So creating hyper personalized ads on Instagram or Facebook is like an easy solution. Or if you make a YouTube video as a creator, and you realize that you made a mistake, where you want to change a sentence in that entire video to something else. You don't want to remove it. You want to just change the context of it. How do you do that? You have to re-record the whole thing.
Right.
With us, you don't have to. You just change the text in the subtitles or the transcription, and it automatically creates accurate lip sync for you. Or as an employee, you join Apple, and Tim Cook comes on your screen, personally welcomes you, and actually walks you through the employee onboarding journey.
Yeah.
There's the possibilities of these are literally limitless. And entertainment, gaming, as long as you have accurate lip sync and accurate voice cloning, you can apply that in many, many contexts.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about the strategy for winning here. So you're talking about the end game, and you're not just building a product, you're building a foundation and an infrastructure for others. And this is technology that we are seeing emerge, and we have a variety of different organizations that are looking at these technologies in different lenses. What is your approach with Potion for winning in this long game? Why is Potion going to succeed here?
That's a great question. Honestly, this is a very I'm going to be extra honest here. I'm not talking to you because you're a VC. I'm talking to you as like, we're just like friends kind of situation. So I don't want just us to succeed. I'm pretty sure there are other companies who are going to solve this problem in a different lens as well. What we want to do is we want to build a platform that allows people to create these pieces of content securely. And we also want to build a community of developers that support each other to actually will build anything on top of Potion. So that's what we believe in the long term would succeed. So we have started taking steps towards what can we do to add to the security layer? What can we do to create this as a platform? Plug and play into other video editing tools, building a community. So those are the things that we believe will make us quote unquote win. But honestly, I'm pretty sure there's going to be other companies that will take a stab at the problem as well. And we hope to collaborate with them as well.
So it sounds like you're really doubling down on the community aspect, on the first, having people could create trust in the infrastructure that you're building. That's sort of the security lens that you were saying before, but then also the community aspect of how do we empower developers to work with each other, work with content creators, and figure out different ways to leverage the software. At that point, how do you envision Potion being a part of this player? Is it sort of a licensing mechanism that you are the core technology that other apps are using? Is it still the Potion brand that the end consumers are getting exposed to, or that the developers are getting exposed to? In other words, where are you in the mindset of your consumers as you scale up Potion to be a developer play for many people to use and build apps on?
A great question. So we look at ourselves as AWS for synthetic media, and that's just a platform that allows developers to do things that they want to do. It's a conglomeration of multiple products. Although we are starting with one product right now, slowly we'll release trust-based and security-based products that inspires confidence in developers that their technology is not going to be misused. And then we'll also double down on the community aspect of it. So Potion as a brand probably will not be exposed to the end consumer as heavily. Just like when you go on a website, if it's served by AWS, the consumer doesn't see that it's served by AWS. It's just interacting with a product or a service. So that's where we want to be. There are a bunch of things that we need to build to make this more secure. I'll give you a couple examples right now. So as a policy, we don't allow people to create deepfake videos of anybody else but themselves. That's like one of the core tenets of our company policy. So I had to fire a customer last week because they misused this tech. They basically misused our tech. They gave someone their password, and somehow they figured out how to use someone else's space. His boss's space in the video.
Wow.
So we had to fire them, which is not an easy thing to do for a small startup. But so those are the types of things like voice fingerprinting, face fingerprinting. Those are the types of security things we're going to build and broker that as a platform to developers. So they don't have to worry about anything from a security or malicious intent perspective.
How is that security and trust building play into your strategy for winning here? Because first of all, I think it's admirable and it's amazing that I'm very happy to hear that you're putting so much effort into this. Yet I can't help but understand that it's a little bit contradictory to scaling quickly, to getting because you're effectively regulating your customers. You're regulating the use of your product, which is naturally limiting the usage of the product. And so, first of all, why? Why is this such a cornerstone or foundational idea that as you're building Potion?
This is actually an important question to discuss. If you remember, a few years ago, there was an Obama deepfake done by, I think, one of the Key and Peele, one of the comedians out there. And that's where I'd started thinking about, okay, what can be done to actually use the same technology in a good way as opposed to a bad way. So that's where the germination of the idea came from. It's really easy to misuse this technology for political gains or to create mistrust among people or just disseminate bad content or with malicious intent. We would rather have less customers than not. If people are using our technology for nefarious reasons, I don't want to be a part of it. So I want to make sure, as a founder of the company, that I build the right frameworks and policies in the company that allow us to do that in the long run.
And do you find that your teammates, investors, board members, is everybody sort of aligned on this mission? Everybody has this same conviction, or is this something that you have to tell me? And the second question as a follow-up to this is, what about your employees? How do you get your employees and your team members that as you're building your team to have this as a really foundational piece of who they are?
Yes. Our head of AI, Marcus, and my co-founder, Andrew, all of us are aligned on this particular thing. Like, we just don't want this technology to be used for bad reasons. It's a reasonable thing to do. And every single time we pitched to our investors, before they became investors, we made sure that this point is communicated to them. So if they come in with a different expectation that doesn't align with us, we may not have a deal here. So this was communicated through and through before and after we got investments, as well as new employees as well. So yes, the team is aligned, and we communicate frequently that, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to stick with.
Mm-hmm. And is this mainly a sort of a verbal or sort of a cultural idea, or is this also technologically something that you're spending time and effort to develop? Because I imagine there are different opportunities that could be done technologically to increase authentication. Like you mentioned fingerprinting before.
Yeah, so both. Culturally, we are inclined towards that direction. Hence, we build the solutions in such a way that the technology also complies with what we think and feel. So examples being voice fingerprinting or having stronger contracts for actually using the technology in a specific way. Those types of things are what we're building towards to build that layer of trust.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like you're working on some really phenomenal ideas and some really phenomenal products. And I can only imagine what the world can do with more personalized video content. And I think that you're right on the point of understanding the dangers of it and the pitfalls. And you're mentioning that, by democratizing sort of this ability, you're also democratizing the ability for misuse. And this is true really for any product, but here specifically, it has more of a human nature. And so I really respect your motivation for being so intentional with the way that you're running this. And I can't wait to use the product myself. And really, Kanad, thank you so much for coming here and for taking this time. I know how busy you are, for sharing your story with me. And I look forward to following your journey. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. This was super fun, and feel free to reach out to me anytime.
I appreciate it.